nice and straight in your chair with your eyes open. However, every time you hear me say my name, Dan Laurinaitis, every time you hear me say my name, Dan Laurinaitis, this gentleman, touch on the shoulder. Every time you hear me say my name, Dan Laurinaitis, you're going to leap to your feet, put your hands on your hips, and yell, "Who's your daddy?" Haven't done that? You're going to sit right back down. You'll repeat the process over and over again until I say sleep. Once again, but when I count from 1 to 5, sit down nice and straight in your chair. Every time you hear me say my name, Dan Laurinaitis, every time you hear me say Dan Laurinaitis, leap to your feet and yell real loud, "Who's your daddy?" Having done that, you'll sit right back down. Let me see. This gentleman touch on the shoulder right here. This gentleman touch on the shoulder. When I count from 1 to 5, sit down nice straight in your shoulder. Sit up nice and straight in your chair with your eyes open. Every time you hear me say help, or use the word help in a sentence, you're going to leap to your feet, put your hands on your hips and yell, "Here I come to save the day," because you were Mighty Mouse. That's right. Every time you hear me say help, use the word help, leap to your feet and yell, "Here I come to save the day." Having done that, you'll sit right back down. This gentleman touch on the shoulder. This gentleman touch on the shoulder right here. When I count from 1 to 5, sitting up nice and straight in your chair with your eyes open. Every time you hear me say hypnotist, or use the word hypnotist in a sentence, you're going to yell real loud, "You're fired!" because you think this show sucks. That's right. You think it's fake. You're fake. I'm fake. We're all fake. The audience is fake. Everyone's fake. You're going to let me know how much you hate this show. Every time you hear me say hypnotist, use the word hypnotist in a sentence, you're going to yell real loud, "You're fired!" because you think this show sucks. Let me see here. This young lady I'm touching on the shoulder right here. This young lady I'm touching on the shoulder. When I count from 1 to 5, sit up nice and straight in your chair with your eyes open. Every time I ask you your first name, you won't be able to tell me. You'll know your middle name and your last name, but not your first name. But every time I ask you your first name, you're going to draw a blank. You'll be able to tell me your middle and your last, but not your first. So when I count from 1 to 5, sit up nice and straight in your chair with your eyes open. Every time you hear me ask you your first name, you're going to draw a blank. You won't be able to tell me your first name. This young lady I'm touching the shoulder right here. Every time I count from 1 to 5, you can sit up nice straight in your chair. But every time I ask you your first name, it's going to be different from the name that you've just given me. It could be a girl's name, it could be a boy's name. It could go back and forth, girl, boy, boy, girl. Every time I ask you your first name, it's going to be different from the name that you've just given me. So when I count from 1 to 5, sit up nice straight in your chair with your eyes open. Every time I ask you your first name, it's going to be different. This young lady I'm touching the shoulder right here. This young lady I'm touching the shoulder. When I count from 1 to 5, sit up nice straight in your chair with your eyes open. Every time you hear me say microphone, or use the word microphone, as soon as you're going to suddenly realize your belly button just popped right off. Go out in the audience underneath the chairs. You don't want it. That's okay. Just wave your hand in the air, get my attention. I'll come over. You'll tell me discreetly what just happened, and I'll give you another one, an invisible belly button. You'll put it on. Don't let anyone know that you just lost your belly button. It's going to be embarrassing. So when I count from 1 to 5, sit up nice straight in your chair with your eyes open. Every time you hear me say microphone, use the word microphone in a sentence, it pops right off. Right. This gentleman I'm touched on the shoulder right here. When I count from 1 to 5, you can sit up nice straight in your chair with your eyes open. But every time you hear me say Springfield High School, every time you hear me say Springfield High School, or use Springfield High School in a sentence, you're going to realize that your shirt is on inside out. That's right, you're going to realize your t-shirt that you're wearing is on inside out, so you're going to have to take it off, turn it inside out, and put it right back on. Every time you hear me say Springfield High, whoops, there you go, you're going to realize your shirt is inside out. Your shirt inside out, put it right back on. So when I count from 1 to 5, sit up nice and straight in your chair with your eyes open. You repeat the suggestions over and over again until I say sleep once again. If I did not give you a suggestion, I will in just a moment. When I count from 1 to 5, sit up nice and straight. Thank you for this young lady I'm touching the shoulder. When I count from 1 to 5, sit down nice straight in your chair with your eyes open. Every time you hear me say water, or use water in a sentence, you're going to yell real loud, "I have to pee!" And then you'll carry on about your business. Now, you won't go pee, you'll just have to pee.
Funny.
We don't want to puddle. So when I count from 1 to 5, sit down nice straight in your chair with your eyes open. Every time you hear me say water, use water in a sentence, leap to your feet and yell real loud, "I have to pee!" Have you done that? You'll sit right back down. Repeat the process until I say sleep once again. Let me see this. When I count from 1 to 5, everybody sit up nice straight in your chairs. 1, everybody hold yourselves all the way up in your seats. 2, thinking of those suggestions. 3, hold yourselves all the way up. 4, thinking of your key words, thinking of your suggestions. 4, eyes are opening. 4, and 5, eyes open. Eyes open, wide awake. Let's get to know our volunteers. Thank you all very much for coming up. We will get you hypnotized here in just a second. Hi there, what is your first name? Brenna, nice to have you here. Brenna, we're going to get to know someone. Hi, what is your first name? Eric, nice to have you, Eric. And you are? Holly, nice to have you, Holly. And you are? Claire, nice to have Claire. Your first name? Nick, nice to have you, Nick. And you are? Dalton, nice to have you here, Dalton. Hi there, what is your first name? Calista, nice to have you, Calista. Hi, and what is your first name? Is your first name? Okay, we'll get back to you. Hi there, what is your name? Jake, nice to have you here, Jake. And you are? Brandon, nice to have you, Brandon. Your name? Jimmy. Nice to hear you, Jim. Hi there, what is your name? Lonnie, nice to have you. Lonnie, hi there, what is your name? Jordan. Jordan, nice to have you. Jordan. Hi there, what is your name? Amber. Amber, nice to have you. And you are? Jordan. Jordan. Hi there, what is your name? Bill, nice to have you.
What did he
You
say?
all know the same. I'm a hypnotist up here on stage.
You're on fire!
It was startling there. I was going to need a little help for a second.
Here I come to save the day!
I just want y'all to know that my name is Dan Lornitis, just in case. That's my name. My name is Dan Lornitis, I just want y'all to know. And I'm a hypnotist, folks. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I love water, folks. I really do. We'll get to you in just a second, okay? If you need help, we'll get to you in just a second. Thank you very much, my mouth. See, I'm a hypnotist. I don't know what my name is. Thank you very much. My name is Dan Lornitis. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. This microphone works. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me with this microphone. This is important. This microphone. If you can't hear me, then the show, we'll never. What's it? So I'm a hypnotist up
You're
here.
on fire! What are you doing here? This show sucks!
Okay. My name is Dan Lornitis, just so y'all know. Hi there, what is your name? Brennan, you are? Jake, hi there, Jake, and you are? Is this something with Springfield High School? I don't know. Is it something with Springfield High School? Maybe Springfield High School has that little thing, but what is your first name? What's your middle name?
Oh
And your
no.
last name? And your first name?
What is it doing?
It's not that hard. Right, what is your first name? See how easy that is? That's not that. What is your first name? Eric. See how? Watch one more time. What is your first name?
Annie.
Annie. See how simple that is? You are. What is your middle name?
Kelly.
Last name. First name. See, my name is Dan Lornitis. I don't know if y'all know that. And it's really great. See, I'm living in Chicago now, but I used to live in Springfield. But I always loved Springfield High School. I saw, so you know, I love coming back here to perform for Springfield High School. And is this microphone good enough for you? You guys can hear me with this microphone. Just want to make sure you all can hear me. You can hear me with this microphone. My name is Dan Lornitis, and I'm a hypnotist, just so you know. Thank you very much. And I love water, folks. I really do. Lots of water. Just a second. See, sometimes you need help over here. Sometimes you.
Here I come to save the day!
Thank you very much, my house. I appreciate that. Off again, huh?
Off again.
That's right. Hi there, what is your name? Jordan. Jordan, look right up here, Jordan. And sleep deeper. Here it is. Hi there, what is your name? What is your first name?
I don't need to say.
Look up here and sleep deeper. Hi there, what is your name? Eric. Look right up here, Eric. And sleep deeper.
You like went cross-eyed.
This gentleman here, you were number 1. This gentleman here, you were number 2. This gentleman here, you were number 3. Those 3 guys, when I count from 1 to 5, you'll be sitting up nice and straight in your chair with your eyes open. However, the instant you hear music, you're going to leap to your feet, take center stage, because you are a member of Beyonce's backup dancers for all the single ladies. So when I count from 1 to 5, you'll be sitting up nice and straight in your chair.
What you doing? Tease yourself.
Sleep deeper. And this gentleman here will be involved too. So you're number 1. You're number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Those 4 guys, when I count from 1 to 5, sit up nice and straight in your chair with your eyes open. The instant you hear music, leap to your feet because you are Beyonce's backup dancer to all the single ladies. You know the moves. You've seen the video. If you don't, you'll make it up. Here we go. 1, starting to sit up nice and straight. 2, pulling yourselves all the way up into your seats. 3, thinking of that suggestion now, building the confidence. 3, 4, all the way up. 4, and 5, eyes open. ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. One more? Want to sing one more? Heather, what is your name? Lonnie. Look right up here, Lonnie. And this gentleman, I'm touching on the arm. When I count from 1 to 5, you'll be seated up nice and straight in your chair with your eyes open. The instant you hear music, you'll leap to your feet slowly. Take center stage because you will have transformed into Michael Jackson. That's right, when I count from 1 to 5, you'll be seated up nice and straight in your chair. The instant you hear music, you're going to leap to your feet slowly. Take center stage because you will have transformed into Michael Jackson. Make it Jackson. I don't know why I said Jacket. Probably having a stroke or something. When I count from 1 to 5, sit up nice straight in your chair. When I count from 1 to 5, instant you hear music, leap to your feet, take center stage because you have transformed into Michael Jackson. 1, starting to sit up nice and straight. 2, think of that suggestion now. 3, all the way to 4, and 5. Eyes open. Let's give him a big round of applause. Oh my volunteers, look right up here. And everybody, sleep deeper.